What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 28 of Pacific Horseplayers. I'm not Noah Meagher. I'm Ryan Anderson. I'm joined by my co-host, Jackson Muniz. How's it going, Jackson? It's just us two today. It's just the duo. Noah's got something going on. I assume it's school as his school year comes to an end. So you and I are going to tackle the late pick 5 at Santa Anita today.
Yeah, it's going on. I was a little confused. I heard music coming from like 3 different sources, and I was trying to figure out what the heck you were trying to do with the intro today. But apparently, I had it on 3 different screens, and that's kind of where it came from. So figure it all out. Ready to go for now.
That'll happen, but you can never play too much Zach Diamond out of your speakers. So that song really gets you going. So if you had it out of 3 speakers, good on you. But before we go into the late pick 5, obviously this is our first show since the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks. So I'll start with you, Jackson. What were your thoughts on the Derby? And then we have a couple things that we need to address here.
You want to do it first? Or you want to do it last?
Let's do it first. Well, all right. Let's kick this thing off by let's talk about the West Coast horses in the Derby first, and we'll end with that second thing. Okay. We'll end with the other part, but yeah, we got to start with the fact that the West Coast horses showed up in a big way this weekend. Journalism ran second. Baeza ran third. Baeza ran a huge race to grow up like that, and just his second start versus winners to do that in the Derby. So obviously, hope he comes out of it well. Hope we see him Belmont Stakes weekend along with Journalism, and of course, Sovereignty is going to point there. Also, Copian showed up this weekend in a big way. We had Gaming and Madacat Road both show up as second and third place finishers in the Pat Day Mile. If you want to count that for anything, I mean, that's pretty big. That effort from Gaming pretty much came out of nowhere. But yeah, I mean, what were your thoughts on the West Coast horses that showed up over the weekend?
No, they kind of picked up right where they left off in the Breeders' Cup when we had a really good showing with limited runners. I think they won, I want to say 3 or 4 races at Breeders' Cup, and a number of long shots hit the board at a price. So it's kind of the same thing this past weekend. We saw a couple winners on Friday, a number of winners on Saturday on the undercard, and then they ran second and third in the Derby. So the West Coast is doing really well right now. So got a lot of things to complain about, I guess, out here on the West Coast, but the quality of horses is not one of them, as they're clearly doing very, very well.
Yeah, it certainly feels like we can go ahead and kill that conversation about field sizes mattering, because Copian won off of facing 9 horses in her last 2 races combined. And Journalism, obviously, off of a 5-horse Santa Anita Derby field. Baeza finishing third in a 5-horse Santa Anita Derby field. So yeah, we can go ahead and end that conversation. I don't think field size matters for a lot of these. We clearly have the talent. Yes, we're maybe a little bit top heavy, and we don't have the depth that like Kentucky, or Florida, and New York has, but we certainly have that top quality talent that can compete anywhere in the country. We got a little. We typically throw up the administrative stuff first, but actually we're going to check in with the chat, because I guess it's my show tonight. So we're just gonna do this. RDW's in the chat. What's up? He beat Katie to the show. That is an accomplishment in it of itself. Katie is here, of course. We got James. I'm sorry, that's James in the chat. We got Ralph, no Derby winner in the Preakness this year. We are going to get to that a little later on. Jim Polaris, nice of you to join us. Congrats to all who had Sovereignty in the Derby. But wow, did I really need Journalism? I did too. But that's all right. The Derby was still a fun race, and it was pretty satisfying seeing the 3 best horses go 1, 2, 3. You could argue 4 with the way that Final Gambit ran back out of the Jeff Ruby Stakes, but that's kind of up for debate. But those top 3 finishers were well clear of the rest. And then JL, Paul helped me hit Sunday's pick 4, so no pressure. I'm expecting us to deliver. Ryan and Jackson, there's no pressure there. We got you covered with this late pick 5. Now, I guess, let's do the administrative stuff. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor, and of course YouTube, where you're listening to this right now, or if you're on X. Subscribe to the HHH Racing Podcast Power Picks for a very affordable $21.60 a month or $4.99 a weekend. 212 all-time ROI, 822 total picks and counting since February 2021. The website is right there, also available in the description. Not so brand new Team HHH Power Picks available now. Those are available also on the website. And go to our great website, hhhracingpodcast.com, to learn more information about this podcast, all the shows we have on this channel, as well as joining Team HHH. All right, Jackson, I think I got everything out of the way. Are you ready to dive into this late pick 5 here?
Do it.
All right. It's no Derby card, but we certainly have some competition to get through here. So we'll start with race number 5. Morning lines, post positions not officially out yet. So we're going to do that old school kind of counting method that I'm always so good at. So I saw the race 4-6-3. Jackson saw the race 6-5-3. So Jackson, we got to start with you. Obviously, the number 6, Lovesick Blues, a horse that you and I have talked about along with Noah a handful of times on this show, as this is a frequent runner out on the West Coast. What were your thoughts on this one as we're going 6 furlongs in the Siren Lure Stakes, the flat 6 furlongs to kick us off here?
Yeah, just a horse that I feel like has done absolutely nothing wrong in his last 2 starts. First 2 starts of 2025, he's done very little wrong. I mean, the San Simeon came against great stakes foes. Look at that chart on that race. Race completely fell apart. He was up on the pace the whole time. He was the only horse that stuck around at all. I think first, third, and fourth all came from last, second to last, and third to last. So really against the race flow in that day and ran extremely well. And then last time, that was a Calbred stake race. And that was kind of a weird race where a couple horses went at it early, and then they kind of bunched up. And he was the kind of one that instigated that second half of the race, or second quarter, I should say, where they kind of sped it up a little bit in the second quarter. And he was the one that instigated it, took it to him, tried to open up, and then just got caught late by a deep closer. So I think 2 straight races, he's run really well, kind of against the race flow, and has still run pretty well despite doing that. So just think he's in really good form right now. He's going to have a good shot. Outside post is fine in the small field. He can handle this. Those 2 races did come down the hill, but he's more than capable of running well on the flat as well. So I just think he's going to get a really good trip in here. Versatile running style and great form. He's going to be very tough in this spot.
Yeah, I picked Lovesick Blues in second for all the reasons you mentioned. I just thought maybe this one would be a little vulnerable on the flat 6 furlongs. I thought this one is kind of the 6.5 down the hill, but I would imagine with these connections and with the other horses in the race that we're going to get to here in a minute, you're still going to get a good price, maybe 6-1. Is that about fair? 6-1 on this horse? Considering, you're probably going to have a reasonably heavy favorite in the 4 Air Force Red that we're going to get to. Howard's in the chat, the boss man, Funkel. Hope everyone had a great Derby weekend. We'll be, I'm assuming this is, we'll be recapping the races on each show this week, along with great handicapping tips. So let's go to horse number 4. Which
I don't think it'll be 6-1, by the way. I think it'll be probably the second choice in this race. Maybe third.
Fair enough. I went with Brand, the number 4 horse for Sadler and Rispoli, kind of the fresh face in here. I've seen enough of Noble Reflection, who is the rail horse. Yeah. Not that I've seen enough of Lovesick Blues. I think that's a very talented horse, along with the others that we'll talk about here. I just thought Brand, kind of fresh face, obviously has run really strongly over the 6 furlong distance with 3 of this horse's 8 wins coming over that, including a nice performance at Kentucky Downs. So, that certainly doesn't translate here, but at least, I see a horse that can pretty much handle anything that's thrown at him. John Sadler, obviously very strong with these type of moves coming off the 180-day layoff, looking about 24%. He hooks up with Rispoli here, Horonis Racing. They're coming back in a good spot. This isn't the toughest field. I know he's a 7-year-old gelding now, but he certainly is capable of firing a winning effort first off the bench. So I wanted to give this one a look as my top pick. Jackson, you didn't have this one in your top 3. Any reason why, or do you just kind of prefer others?
Just kind of preferred others, and it scared me off a little bit. He's ran 1 race in, almost 2 years now? It's a little concerning. Obviously, the numbers are really strong. He has to prove to me that he's still capable of running up to that level.
Without a doubt, yeah. No, I'm not going to push back too much on this one. Horse that's getting a major jockey change is the number 5, Ion Rye. Go ahead and take it away, Jackson, with your second pick.
Yeah, this is one I've been chasing for a while, and you kind of mentioned it. Big jockey change, and big distance change too. They're coming back to 6 furlongs. To be honest, I don't even know if this is necessarily going to help him at all. Look at his form lines. Maybe not. I can see some of these races he needs to cut back. Others, not so much. Maybe a mile is preferred, but I do think the jockey change could be significant, and maybe the distance is what he wants to do. And I think he will be a decent price in this smallish field, so I do want to give him a shot. Probably more underneath type. Keem second, Keem third. Probably will run well and be in there somewhere. Just not sold. I just probably won't use him super heavy on the win end.
Yeah, it looks like what could be a formful day this Saturday, at least looking at the late sequence, and we'll get into that as we keep going. Real quick, though, Katie with a good comment. By the way, Tenma proved you guys wrong. She handled the track really well. That she did. I know she finished, I believe it was 5th, but she was right up on that pace the entire way around. She might have even finished 4th. I got to look at the race chart again. But, she ran fantastic. She ran lights out. The race completely fell apart. Good Cheer is the best filly in the country, probably by the amount of lengths that she just won by. She ran her race. Everybody else more or less ran their race. The race completely fell apart behind her with Bless the Broken and Drexel Hill coming from, Drexel Hill was dead last on the backstretch, and Bless the Broken was, mid-pack as she closed too. So that race fell apart. For 10 minute hold on. That's the more West Coast credit that we deserve. So thank you, Katie, for bringing that up, because the West Coast is the best coast, as you can tell by my little sub name down there. All right. I picked the 6 as well. Love Sick Blues, kind of already touched on that. Let's go to the 3, which is Air Force Red. A horse who had a nice kind of reversal in form last time, going 6.5 down the hill in the San Simeon. Finally got back in the win column. It had been a little bit before then, certainly even longer since this horse found the winner's circle at a sprint distance, last winning at a mile and a 16th over the Del Mar turf course, and we all know how different that is. So this is likely your morning line favorite, would you think, Jackson?
Yeah.
So what do you think about this runner? Last time he was the morning line favorite, he won. So is he just facing a group that's going to be better, and we're just trying to beat the chalk here, or what'd you view?
He's just another one who I'm not completely sold he wants this flat 6. He's run fine going at 6.5, and last time he took advantage of a good setup that day. I'm just not sure if another cut back to the flat 6 is really what he wants to do. Now maybe he's just better than these, and it won't end up mattering. But I think he is going to be the favorite. I don't think he has very much of an edge at all over this field, so he's one I kind of wanted to leave underneath. But he's obviously the one to beat.
Yeah, you and I, similar trains of thought here. Obviously, the horse to beat. The flat 6, not something he's done all too often. Obviously, you look back at his last 6 furlong effort. That was at Belmont Park in the Grade 1 Jaipur. So I'm willing to toss, I'm not going to go ahead and count that against him necessarily. He was facing horses like Caravel, Big Invasion, Casa Creed, all Grade 1 winners who were doing really well. Were doing really well at the time. The 6 furlong is interesting. Leonard Powell, obviously, he's not super strong off the bench, but he's very capable. And this horse has run well. So definitely your horse to beat. But I was with you, Jackson. I'm trying to beat him with the number 4 Brand. You're trying to beat this horse with the number 6 Love Sick Blues. I kind of mentioned I've had enough of this horse, the horse on the rail, Noble Reflection. Are you in the same boat, or just maybe this horse is just kind of a class below? Certainly going to be a factor early.
Just seems like he's kind of going the wrong way. The Lasix off kind of worries me too. If you look at some of his past lines, not so great when he has Lasix off, and he's had really no excuse. His last 3 starts, really, especially the last 2 though. But he had easy leads against Lesser and couldn't hang on. So maybe the claim moves him up, but I don't need him.
I agree. All right, that's race number 5, the San Simeon Stakes. I went 4-6-3. Jackson went 6-5-3. We'll move on to race number 6. A very, I guess it's a nice maiden special weight race. Let me throw it back up here for us. We're going 6.5. It's 3 to 5 year old maidens. Picks are up on the screen. I went 3-7-6. Jackson went 3-6-2. No surprise. This horse is going to be heavy on the morning line. That's the number 3 Sierra Silver. You see 3rd place on debut with Martin Garcia up, but the winner, Goal Oriented, came out to win and repeat the 91 Beyer speed figure on Derby Day on the undercard. I believe it was race 3. And then Train the Trainer on a trainer switch to Rob Atras won the nightcap in at Belmont and Aqueduct, I guess is the name of the meet. Won pretty convincingly there, repeated his 84 Beyer. So a very live race. I want to say the 4th place finisher also came out to win. The 5th and 6th. Yeah. 5th and 6th place finisher. Concord Bridge ran an 89. They've all improved their Beyer or ran the similar Beyer. So a very live race. We got to start with the favorite, obviously trained by Bob Baffert. You can take it away. But we won't spend too much time on this well-deserved favorite.
Yeah, it's just super quick. Comes out of a super live race. 4 of the 5 horses that ran out of it have come back to win. The one horse that lost was 67-1. So I think you'd be a little forgiving that horse didn't win that race. Super live race comes out of. Got the lead up from the rail last time. Doesn't have to break from the rail this time. Just a horse that makes a whole lot of sense. And watched a lot of workouts on these horses. It doesn't seem like there's any stars in this race. I just think this horse is, if he moves up at all, and even if he just runs back to that debut effort, he should be awfully tough. Yeah,
he's not meeting any monsters in this field, and you mentioned everything that needs to be said. Anytime Baffert leaves a horse in on the rail in a maiden special weight race, that's normally a green flag for me. That gives me kind of a tip that the horse has some ability. He doesn't, because obviously that's a really tough place to break through or break from as a maiden. So for him to run that well from the rail, I think this horse has a lot of potential. You get 2nd-time Lasix, you get all this stuff. This horse should be a very well-deserving and very heavy favorite, probably in the 2 to 5 range if I had to be. That might be, wishful thinking, to be honest. I went with the 7 Legal Air as my logical, I guess, second choice. I like when Mandela puts anyone other than Mike Smith on a first-time starter, not because Mike Smith can't ride the firsters, but typically when you see Mike Smith, it's to get that horse kind of an education when they go around there. Kazushi Kimura on board kind of tips the hand that maybe this horse has some ability to show on debut. I want to say the Dam, has 2 second-place finishes on debut, but the Dam won on debut with the Offspring. Couple second-place finishes from 3 total starters. So I thought this one might have had a shot to round out the exacta. Jackson, you went with the other Baffert, Southern Gentleman. Drayden Van Dyke back riding for Bob Baffert, back on the West Coast. Been a while since I've seen that name out here, since Soul of an Angel came roaring down the middle of the track. But go ahead.
Thanks for bringing that memory up. I appreciate that.
No problem. I think Still is still running in the Derby City Distaff, so no worries there. What are your thoughts on Southern Gentleman here?
Yeah, the Van Dyke thing kind of leaps out at you too. Don't know what to make of it, but just interesting. And then they paid $725,000 for this horse off of a $10,000 stud fee. Anytime you see anything of that kind of magnitude, kind of perks your ears up a little bit. Obviously, this horse can run a little bit. Watch his workouts in the morning, looks fine. He's been working with Gaming and Cavalieri, which those are 2 pretty good horses. I think that usually speaks to the talent of this horse. Again, he's just facing another tough Baffert horse. I kind of wanted to use them underneath. It kind of feels like one of those races you just play the Bafferts 1-2, and they're probably going to run around there in a circle and hit the exacta.
You are probably spot on with that analysis. I got to wonder, why did Cavalieri not run this weekend? I mean, she's been on the work tab. I don't know. I thought she was going to show up, and clearly in the La Troyenne, it only took an 85 buyer to win that race. She would have won that race by a city block. She would have ran all the way to Lexington and finished that race before everybody was done. So obviously, hope she's in good shape. Hope we see her back at the races soon, because she's a really talented filly. I picked this one in third too, talking about Southern Gentleman. All the reasons you said, huge purchase price. The Matolis have seemed to always kind of outsell the stud fee by a 5x plus multiple from what I've seen. RDW in the chat. Legal Air has some really good works for Mandela. That 4620 looks sharp for a Mandela horse. I'm with you on that. That's kind of the Baffert exacta makes a lot of sense. I was just going to try and take a semi-logical alternative to that, but I couldn't get much farther. It's going to be pretty much just the 3 on top for me in race number 6. One more time for our audio listeners. I went 3 7s. Oh, Jackson, I want you to talk about the 2. Sorry, I was moving too quickly. Number 2 penalty box for a guy, Mike McCarthy, who obviously just finished second in the Kentucky Derby. What did you like about this first time starter by Violence?
Yeah, just another one I was able to watch his works. He looks pretty good in the mornings, I will admit. He's working in company with a horse called Mystic Spirit, I want to say. Which one is the Sappy horse? It's either Spirit or Lake.
Mystic Lake.
Okay, so it wasn't Lake. It was Mystic Spirit, who was for McCarthy. Yep. Older allowance horse. Well, he's like 4 for 8 or something. Pretty good older allowance horse, useful type. He's working with that one. I thought he was going easier of the 2 in company, but does seem like one that might want more distance. I don't know about this. I don't know about today's race, but definitely one I think I want to keep an eye on for next time.
No doubt. That is race number 6. I went 3-7-6. Jackson 3-6-2. We'll move on now to race number 7. This, in my opinion, was the hardest race on the card, just from a handicapping perspective. This race made no sense. I'll throw it back up. Let me get the picks up on the screen. We're going 6 furlongs and a conditional $32,000 claimer. 6 furlongs on the turf, that is. I went 7-9-5. Jackson went 7-6-2. So we ended up on the same
horse.
I mean, you sent me your picks after I put my picks in, so we can check the tape on that one. But we both ended up somehow on the number 7 Mucho Magical. I'll let you take it on to start us off on this one. I'm so surprised that we got to this horse as the same one on top, but this horse was such a headache for me. So take it away with the number 7 Mucho Magical.
Yeah, no, this was just a really tricky race. There's very little turf form to go off of, and it's a big field. I think it's 9 or 10 horses, and there's not much good turf form in there. There's not much speed, so I was kind of looking for a horse that could be a little sneaky on the front end, maybe just off of it. And she kind of fits that bill where she's capable of going in the front or can sit just off and still pass horses. So hoping she gets a good aggressive ride from Kyle Frey. I know the turf race wasn't great. That was a race that just completely fell apart, so I don't want to hold it too much against her. And then she came back last time and closed and won that race pretty easily in the end. I think beat a couple of horses coming out of that turf race, if I remember correctly. So maybe she's one that's kind of up and coming I just thought this was one that might be a square price in here because, again, I don't trust anything in here. I would demand a very good price on anyone you want to take because it's a mess. It's a complete mess.
I'm right with you. That turf race 2-back stood out to me for the exact reason you mentioned. On the pace, completely fell apart. All the winners came from like 8th, 7th, 6th, and 5th for the top 4 finishers. And then, it was only like a 10-horse field, so then you kind of saw everybody else. Completely melted down. This horse should not face that same amount of pace pressure this time. I'm hoping for an aggressive ride from Kyle Frey, as you just mentioned. And, if anything, this horse should be forward. I hope you get a square price. I don't know who your favorite's going to be. Maybe I
would think the outside runner, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's the number 9 who we're going to talk about right now. But I don't love this horse.
Right.
I did pick this horse, the number 9, Love It on the Run, in second, just because I think off of form and off of class, this horse certainly stacks up to these. Has been running buyers that should certainly win no problem. 3-back face Queen Maxima, who came out to win. Oh, that's another West Coast horse. There's just no shortage of them because the West Coast runners have such ability. But yeah, Queen Maxima, 3-back. Clearly that's a much better horse. Vengaza, 2-back. Run a Mile in My Shoes, who's a very capable miler out here on the West Coast. So the class drop, the cutback certainly makes a fair amount of difference and is substantial. So I like this horse. The 1 for 14. I get that she's been facing better. I didn't want to take her at a short price, a little bit unreliable, but 9 Love It on the Run should be your favorite. I respect you for tossing this horse completely. Was this just trying to find a price in a cluster of a race, or okay?
Yeah, she's got a tough post. She doesn't ever win. She does kind of a little bit of a speed figure edge and definitely a class edge, but she just, I don't know. She's never really been close in any of those late races. It's not like she's in contention.
She's not threatening. Yeah.
In turf racing, I feel like sometimes these horses kind of get dragged into the race and it looks a lot better than it actually is. And I feel like she's kind of one of those horses. She could absolutely win. Don't get me wrong. Maybe those things will get her to the winner's circle, but at the price she's going to be, I'm not going to use her.
I'm happy you and I are on the same page there in terms of just trying to beat her. Still hilarious that we ended up on the same horse. But if our buddy Noah was here, he might agree with us that Armando Ayuso to Hector Barrios is one of the few jockey upgrades you could get on the turf from Armando Ayuso. If you would even say it's an upgrade, he might say it's just a lateral move, possibly even a downgrade. I know, which to each their own for the opinions. But I do love Hector Barrios on a horse, so I'll take this one in second. I don't know, what kind of plays I'm going to have in this race, but. I don't know. This is a hard race to dissect, but that's why we love it. You went with the number 6, Lady Marianne. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this as this one gets back to the turf for the first time in about 10 starts.
Yeah, it's just been a while for this one on the grass. It's been a really long time since, over 2 years. Mm-hmm. So maybe I don't want to be too harsh on those grass races. The time for numbers here those spots were actually would be pretty competitive against this group. So kind of basing it on that. And she does seem like one that can be somewhat tactical. I think she'll be closer than she has been as of late, just based on the lack of speed in this race. She might be quicker than some of these other slower horses. So hopefully you get the right kind of trip in this one. And again, I think she'll be a decent price in here too, just because she hasn't been finishing that close as of late, but I think she might trip out.
Yeah, she could trip out. Tiago Pereira aboard. Obviously, he's been riding pretty well over the circuit. My third choice was just happened to be, Miss Meagher as it was. But this trainee by Phil D'Amato comes off the bench, faces substantial class relief, which I don't know if that's, one of those red flags or if it's just a matter of this horse is not very good. And maybe this is just kind of where she fits at this point. 4-year-old, so one on the younger end in this field, but obviously Phil D'Amato, Antonio Fresu, Little Red Feather, they team up for a fair amount of wins on this circuit. And again, I just kind of sucked up for this one. No really strong opinions. I just thought maybe off the bench, this one could show some promise here. But another just contender in just a wildly deep race where the winner could genuinely come from any post. And a potential winner that you saw was from post number 2, which is Blue Fashion. Also getting back onto the turf for Marcelo Polanco and best turf rider, if you depending on who you ask, and Armando Ayuso.
Yeah, just some turf for numbers to go back to. And I do feel like this is one that was begging for a cutback in the turf races, kind of made moves and then just flattened out. And she's got a good inside post. She's going to have to come from way out of it, I think. But I do think she's going to save some ground. She'll come running late. Does have an okay jockey on her. And again, I think she'll be a decent price. So I'll throw her in there too.
Yeah, should certainly be a decent price. So that's race number 7. We're going 6 furlongs, conditional $32,000 claimers. For our audio listeners, I went 7.95. Jackson went 7.62. We'll go on a race number 8. We're going 5.5 for the, to quote Kurt Hoover, for the Pleasanton North races with the restricted $5,000 conditional claiming. Let me throw the past performances back up. 5.5 picks are up. Again, we're pretty similar here. I went 7.53. Jackson went 7.58. So we'll go to Jackson first. My bad. I went way too far on that one. The number 7 is, help me out, Jackson. Is it Divine Rascal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's watch the trip on this one because this was just not – this was a big performance, I thought.
I like it. Okay, we got a few runners few runners coming out of here. Yeah. So Divine Rascal in this race is the number 3, but obviously you have the 2, 3, 7, 6, 12, 10, and 13 all coming out. But we're gonna focus on the number 3. I'll turn the volume down. We'll full screen it here. And I broke it. There we go. All right.
Yeah, I think it's important to show like this horse was quick out of there. He just couldn't quite clear from the inside.
Here, we'll rewind it. Pretty quick out the gate. I agree.
Quick out of there, and for today's race, there's not much speed. Mm-hmm. Man, stop messing with it. We were good.
Sorry. We're good.
He was quick and wasn't the quickest of the quick though. He kind of gets shut off a little bit right here. Loses position, I guess you could say. It wasn't really, checking or anything, but he just lost a little bit of position and drops pretty far out of it after that. And you're going to see again in a second, he kind of re-rally into the turn and get himself back in position. He's going to try to at least. And right here, coming up, horse checks into him. He's got to check again, and he just completely checks out of it. Now he's in last. And he's going to put in a good, decent run. Other horse I want you to focus on is the 10. The 10's on the lead. Is a horse I use as the best of speed coming out of this race. But again, the 3's in the blue cap, I believe.
Currently 7 wide, 8 wide, 9 wide. I mean,
he had trouble at 2 different points in that race down the backstretch. Lost position twice. Still re-rallies this much. And he ends up getting a 4th or 5th, beating a couple lengths. But I thought this was clear the horse you want coming out of this race. I mean, I don't know who else you can possibly – just based on that performance and based on his race 2 back too, where he ran off the screen as well. So I think if he runs back to any of those last 2 efforts, he'll be awfully tough. Again, it's not much speed. He'll be forward. He's drawn much wider today. Should be more in the clear, keep him out of trouble. I just think he needs to run back to either the last race or the race 2 back, and he should be awfully tough against his group.
Yeah, I saw it the same way. Obviously, very troubled trip last time out. And then 2 back, faced a better field than what he's facing today in that optional claiming race and won. And he ran pretty much his race versus that field. That's kind of the race that he was running last time before he kind of got shuffled, lost position, got checked out. Like, we just watched the replay. So, I'm with you. This is kind of the horse to beat.
I agree with Noah. I don't know what you were doing with that replay, bro.
Yeah, sorry. I was clicking too many things. Noah just texted us in our group chat with a very some critiques, but we got to tell him to get back to doing his homework, which is the reason he's not here to join us. So go ahead and focus up on school, little bro. We got this. But yeah, all of this horse's dirt efforts on versus thoroughbreds. They all compete really well in here. This is definitely the horse to beat, and certainly off that last trip, probably going to be the favorite, and probably going to be a pretty convincing one at that. But certainly one I'm going to take out of there. Jackson, we both picked the number 5 Golf Drama in second. This was the aforementioned 10 horse that you just were talking about. What'd you like about this runner? And what's your case on this Troy Dial trainee?
Lost my contest by 80 cents, by the way.
Well, that's what you get for betting Mountaineer on a Tuesday, so I don't feel bad.
God. This was the speed horse I mentioned. He was a 10. The race fell apart completely. He's going to lead again today. Not much speed. I'm going to use him mostly underneath. I think the 7's kind of a big key in this race, but I will use the 5 for the verticals.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah. We got.
I was with you. Edwin Maldonado aboard is just a further. That's Efren Hernandez. My bad. Even so, he's kind of a quarter horse guy, so he's capable of getting a horse out of the gate, getting him to the lead. And that's exactly where you're going to find this horse. Aptly named, as I had a little bit of golf drama today. I went and hit the driving range, I chunked one pretty good. My 3-iron broke, and the head is still in orbit somewhere. So I'm not a golf guy. I'm not going to pretend to be. I am a horse guy, though, and I think golf drama makes a ton of sense in here. Jackson, we're going to go back out to you as we go to the number 8, Wicklow Hills. Ryder, I'm surprised that we don't have Ricardo Ramirez on board, because that would be the classic Jackson pick in a race like this. But go ahead on this Armando Aguilar ridden contender.
Yeah, kind of the fresh face in this race, where a lot of them coming out of the same race. Look who we beat 2 back at Los Al. He beat a horse called Divine Rascal. I think it's a very, very logical horse in this race. I'm going to ignore everything Noah says because he's not here to defend himself. So, I could say some nice things about Noah too if we wanted to, but we won't.
I complimented him enough last week.
Yeah, you did. That was your one compliment for the year. And again, just fresh face in here. I don't think the extra distance will be a problem really, because he's always been running out of room in the Los Al races. And he's run fine at 6 and 5.5 at Golden Gate before. So I don't think the distance is what's going to get him beat. And he should get a decent trip just tucked in right behind the speed, I would have to think, because he's coming out of 4 furlong races. He'll be sharper than he has in those races for sure, going a little bit further. So he might get a good trip in here. Is he good enough? Who knows? But again, that line 2 back kind of jumps off the page when he was right there with Divine Rascal.
He is coming out of those 1.5 furlong races, so you really got to give him some credit for that. That is an inside joke, so please nobody take that too seriously. But no, I'm with you, Jackson. This runner should still have some ability, should be in the race a little bit more, and has finished off his races pretty nicely. So one I gave a look to, but I didn't want to copy your picks word for word, bar for bar, if you will. I ended up on the number 3, my bucket list, in 3rd, just fresh off the claim angle. This runner came out of the same race as we were just looking, sat a pretty nice trip. This one didn't have the kind of trouble that we've seen, but was pretty wide turning for home and made a good run just to lose by a neck. This is a contending type. I mean, you have, 21 out of 36 have been in the money for this runner. So clearly one that likes to fire his best efforts. He's rather consistent considering the rest of this field. And I think off those last 2 efforts where he's run really nicely coming from off the pace, I think he should get a little bit of a chance in here. Tiago Pereira rides back. Antonio Garcia's had a pretty nice meet with 4 runners in the money from 11 starters. So they are live from this barn. I think this one deserves another look, and you might get a little bit of a better price, probably in the 4-1 range. You're not going to get anything too crazy, but one I thought could certainly contend in this 5.5 dash. School comes first. Still got the boys on in the background. That's right. I'm sure we're not distracting little bro at all as he prepares for what I imagine would be finals. That is race number 8, the 5.5 condition claiming race. I went 7.53. Jackson went 7.58 for our audio listeners. We'll move on now to race number 9, last race on the card. And then we have a fun topic to round out our show today. But race number 9 picks are up. I went 3.89. Jackson went 5.79. So finally, we are a little bit different. I'll throw the race back up here. We're going 6 furlongs, optional claiming. Also, speaking of these maiden optional claiming races, can we talk about the fact that Rank finished second once again?
I don't want to.
Okay, we will keep it moving.
He's still going to win a big race this summer, I believe.
He is. It has to happen. It has to happen. Man, that was.
He just needed more ground, He wants to run 12 furlongs, not 6 furlongs.
That's what I keep. That's what I keep texting Shane. I keep telling Shane, get this guy going 2 miles at Chucktown. I mean, that would be his dream. He'd be so happy to run all day. But no, in all seriousness, Rank. We're still Team Rank till the day we die, and we cannot wait to see that horse break his maiden, and then see him back at Del Mar this summer. So we can go in the winner's circle after he sweeps probably all 3 races, if I had to guess. But to stay on this last race, this maiden race to end the card, Jackson, you're going with the number 5. Don't Tell Our Wives. Leonard Powell, JJ Hernandez team up for this runner. Finished 3rd in his last 2 starts, but you think today is the day? Yeah,
I just coming out of that, watching that last race, I think she's definitely the one you want rather than the 9. Can't remember her name, but the D'Amato. I know she's D'Amato. I think she definitely want her more than D'Amato horse, who had Nicolina had a perfect trip in that spot. It was just parked on the outside. They didn't go that fast. Just no excuse whatsoever. And that horse was getting very tired late. Don't Tell Our Wives kind of made a move and then got in super tight towards the last, furlong or so. Just never had much room to go. And I think it made a difference between passing or not passing that one. She's tactical enough to be close, but I like most she just continues to progress. She gets faster and faster and faster with every single race, as they typically do from this barn. Jockey upgrade to JJ Hernandez. I think she'll probably just take yet another step forward in this spot. And again, I just didn't love most of the horses that are debuting in this after watching most of their workouts. So I think she's going to be awfully top in this race with the projected improvement, and she's the one to beat in my book.
Yeah, she certainly looks the one to beat. I didn't have her anywhere in the top 3. I just thought that I was going to kind of lean elsewhere. My top pick went to the number 3, Lead the Way K. First-time starter for Mike Pipey, ridden by Mike Smith in this race. But Jackson, I'm sure when you see the sire, it's no surprise that I chose this horse on top. Obviously, being out of a coma, these horses are so sharp on debut. That last workout going 47 from the gate looked promising. Mike Smith, obviously aboard. I mentioned earlier in the show, likes to typically give these horses an education their first time around, but I think this is one that's going to find herself on the lead. I think she's quick enough to get there. I don't see a whole lot of other pace in here. Obviously, the number 9, Nicolina, can be forward, but we haven't really seen her with the kind of, sharp out of the gate, get to the front kind of speed. So I think Lead the Way K and Mike Smith, they have a chance to make the front. They team up to a pretty efficient ratio, at least at Santa Anita over the past year. Just 5 starters, but you're hitting at a good 60%. You have a good $2.76 ROI. So I'll give this one a chance. Again, I love these Vacomas. I'm a sucker for it. But looking at their ROI on these first-time starters, he's done nothing but throw some winners. So I'll give this one a shot on top. Jackson, let's go out to the outside in the number 9, Nicolina, your third choice and my third choice. As we're on the last one. And real quick, I can't trust anything Shane says anymore. He makes a jockey joke every chance he gets. Well, Noah, just put lifts in your shoes or something, man. I don't know what to tell you. But number 9, Nicolina, is your third choice, Jackson. Go ahead and take it away as we're quickly going off the rails.
Yeah, no, like I said, her debut was really good. That was a good field she ran against. She was 41-1 and ran a good third against those. And then she came back last time and she was 4-5. She got a perfect trip. She's supposed to win that race, and I think she was lucky to be second. She's probably third best in that group. Now, all that being said, she's going to get another perfect trip in here. She could definitely still improve. It's only her third career start, but I do think she'll probably be favored over the 5, and I think I want the 5 more. I think I trust the 5 more. That last race was better, and I think I trust the 5 more to improve. So I'm going to use Nicolina underneath, and the other horse I want to use, I'll probably go straight 5-7 exact in here with the Mandela horse. And Moonlit Courage, who, watching her works over the dirt, she looks pretty good. I think she's a horse that has some talent. Just didn't get the right kind of trip in the debut, but showed speed, which is just never comfortable at any point, kind of between and behind. It was just a weird, not a great trip. And I think she's one that's going to really appreciate the surface switch. So I'll have win bets on the 5 and an ice cold 5-7 exact in this spot.
I like it. Moonlit Courage, I think, deserves a look. Had this one probably 5th behind the 5. Who I had in 4th. My racehorse money is going to take a little bit of a hit on the value I think you can get, but certainly this one being by Omaha Beach can certainly take to the dirt. Again, I watch the works, but you certainly have a better eye than I do. It's sad to see that we didn't get burned in memory to get to the finish line over the weekend, but that's all right. Moonlit Courage, I think, definitely has a shot to get there. And if anything, a big shot to improve. First time on dirt, second time out of the Mandela barn, who just really races his horses well into shape. Obviously, this duo teamed up to win the Grade 1 Derby City Distaff with Copian. So like to see KK, your projected 2025 leading rider at the Summer Meet at Del Mar by that guy. And below my name tag, the guy directly below me, Jackson. Yeah, Moonlit. What?
Book it.
Dano. All right, yeah. Moonlit Courage, certainly with a shot. Horse I went with in second. Number 8, East Boca Kibbutz, I guess. Ron Ellis, runner by Catalina Cruiser. Nothing's going to wow you about the works in the morning. I just like the way that these guys have teamed up for a huge ROI. You're going to get a price. I don't think any of the, proven starters in this race are anything special. I'm going with 2 first-time starters as my top 2 picks. I think this one you're going to get tremendous value on. I'd anticipate somewhere in the double digits. Again, I don't know that I'm going to use this horse, obviously not as a lone A on top. I'm certainly going to use this horse and key him underneath in second and third because I don't think it's going to take a whole lot to factor into the trifecta versus this field. And I think you're going to get a really nice price. You'll know, especially with Ron Ellis being the trainer, this one's taking some money. You know, this one's a little bit live. Ron likes to bet his horses, and Valdivia, he's ridden really well for Ron Ellis. So he's 50% at the Santa Anita meet, which has to be his highest of his career through this far. So no shot against him, but he doesn't get, the top mounts out on the West Coast. So I'd like to see him get into the winner's circle. $140,000 purchase for Ron Ellis, which you don't see a whole lot of. So 14X, not 14, that's bad math. But
no, that was good math.
That was good math. Sorry. It's been a long day, man. I'm tired.
Well, it's Tuesday. What have you been doing?
Recovering from the Derby, man. I'm tired.
Oh my God. You had Sunday and Monday. This is a third day. You need 3 days to recover? What's wrong with you?
Well, I was betting Horseshoe Indy yesterday. I was betting Backwood on Sunday. I mean, we really haven't had a day off. We're out here. Anyway, East Boca Kibbutz could certainly win first time out. Ron Ellis, we've seen him a few times pop with these first time starters, and they've been massive prices. So I'll give this one a look in second. But primarily for me, I'm going to be the number 3 on top. Jackson with the number 5. That is race number 9.
You go first with your best bet. I'll be right back.
I will. I went 3, 8, 9. Jackson went 5, 7, 9. As he has left me on the screen now by myself, so we can all just look at me. Anyway, yeah, Howard, you're trying to recover, Ryan. That's right. I am. Ralph, thank you, but still stay tuned. We have best bets coming, and then we got to talk a little bit about the big race, the Preakness, going next week. But first, best bets. I'm going race 5. I'm playing a double with the 4 into the 3. The 3 is Silver Sierra, and the 4 is Bran, who is my top pick in that race. Bran, again, coming off that layoff for John Sadler, I think is going to factor in a big way. I think you're going to get a fair price, maybe 5-2, 7-2, which I think versus that field is very nice. Into Sierra Silver, hoping for just, 5-1, 6-1 would be more than fair for me. And this is kind of a day at Santa Anita where I'm just going to play a lot of rolling doubles. Jackson kind of mentioned that a little bit on the pre-show, but I think that's kind of the best way to approach this card. Certainly the late sequence that we just covered, because it's one of those cards where it could be very, very chalky. You could have, if Matt Miller's watching, you can play a late pick 5 and single pretty much all the favorites and have a good shot at winning, or it could be one where not a single favorite wins. And I've officially talked for long enough because our man Jackson is back on the screen, so you don't have to just look at my face anymore. But one more time with my best bet. Race 5 double. I'm going 4-3. That's Bran into Sierra Silver. Jackson, your best bet. Walk us through it.
Yeah, also double. Mine's a late double, so you have the $5 minimum with the 15% takeout. Very, very player friendly. Also, just happens to be my 2 best bets of the late sequence, so it kind of worked out that way. And we're just going to hammer it and hope we're right. Divine Rascal, we both like, and in that 8th race, just had an awful trip last time. Ran so much better than it looks on paper. Has a lot going for him, pace scenario and the post and all that. I just think he's a very likely winner of that race. Going to use him, no one else. And then the last race, number 5. What's the name? Don't tell our wives. There we go. For Leonard Powell, one that had trouble last time, was again better than looked, keeps improving, should get a decent trip in that spot, and I just think is the most likely winner. So I'm going to just crush those 2. Not going to pay anything crazy, but I think, again, my 2 best bets, and hope we're right on both of them and go from there.
There we go. That's a race 8 late double 7-5 for Jackson. All right. That's all the handicapping we have for the show. But now we got to talk next week. Pimlico Racecourse, Preakness. It was announced earlier today. Sovereignty is not going to go to the Preakness. Is going to skip it and go to the Belmont. Journalism, not running in the Preakness. Baeza, not running in the Preakness. We haven't had any. I believe so. Did they not? They haven't announced that he's running, and it certainly feels like he's it doesn't feel, I don't know. Maybe he is running. Maybe I spoke too soon.
I know the first and third are not for sure, but
yeah, haven't heard any word on Final Gambit. Honestly, I'll be real quick before we go into, what needs to maybe change or what our opinions are at least on it, because Twitter X has certainly been loud today regarding this subject. I'm really interested to see if Burnham Square is running back. He finished a nice 6th in the Derby. He got absolutely shut off entering the far turn by Admire Daytona, who was backing up, dropped all the way back to 12th, re-rallied to 6th. Yes, he was still far out of it behind those top 3, but I want to see if he is going to show up at the Preakness next week. But Jackson, we got to talk about the spacing of these races. What do you think needs to be done? Because obviously it's no secret. Horses aren't really bred anymore to be this kind of durable where they can run back in 2 weeks. Connections are kind of opting to just skip this race and go on to the Belmont. What are your thoughts on the whole situation? Obviously, it is a big letdown when the Kentucky Derby winner, they don't even try and pursue the Triple Crown. That should speak volumes, especially for ownership group like Godolphin, who they had a massive weekend, by the way. They won 4 grade ones, the Oaks, the Derby, the Guinea, the 1,000 Guineas, and the 2,000 Guineas. But anyway, to stay on track, what do you think needs? What?
Nothing. I'll go. I want to be very clear. I don't blame the connections at all. They got to do right by the horse. Do what you got to do, sure. But it's obviously a giant problem, and it's not just this year. It's the last, 5-10 years. I mean, this is the Preakness. It's supposed to be the Triple Crown. It's supposed to be the best of the best in all 3 Triple Crown races, and you're getting on average like maybe 1 or 2 Derby starters in every single Preakness race, and that's just a huge problem. You don't have the best horses running the Preakness. You have maybe 1, and then you have the next 21st best horse and 22nd best horse, 23rd best horse. Like, you do not have the best horses running these races. And that's kind of what we want at this point. And I don't know. I see all these things. Oh, don't change it. It's supposed to be hard. Well, I don't know if that really would make it easier if you're spacing them out differently. Mm-hmm. You're going to get, I would hope you get the best horses. That's a completely different conversation. Whether it actually fixed the problem, I would argue it probably wouldn't. So I don't know what they need to do to fix it, because as you and I were talking about earlier a little bit too, the last round of preps for the Breeders' Cup, no one runs in anymore either. They run in at Saratoga at the end of August, and then don't run until the Breeders' Cup to that first weekend in November. So I don't even know if spacing them out 4 weeks would necessarily even guarantee you actually get those best horses in there. So something needs to be done. They need to get together with all the trainers, all the big time trainers, all the big time owners, connections, whatever, and just hash out like what would need to change for them to actually run in the Preakness, because it's the Triple Crown. It's supposed to be the biggest jewel of our sport, and right now it's clearly not. Yeah.
Look, we'll disagree on the point where I think if you space the races out to 4 to 5 weeks, I think you get bigger fields. I think you get a lot of horses running back. I get the people that say they want the Triple Crown to be hard. I still think spacing them out makes it hard. I think the breeding, durable breeding just isn't what we have in America. It's as simple as that. Hong Kong, Australia, Japan, they do a lot better job breeding kind of long-term. You'll see 4 or 5-year-olds run, but in the U.S., it's really geared towards just getting them to the breeding shed, getting them, those graded stakes victories, getting them those grade ones. And if you can skip the Preakness, a lot of them are opting to do that. We got to, make the Preakness great again, so to speak. We got to make it competitive. We got to get those big horses showing up. So, whatever you want to do, I don't know how we do it, but clearly if Derby winners, this is first time in a while, a few years that the Derby winner has skipped the Preakness. Last year we saw Mystic Dan. Rich Strike, I think, skipped it, but that's okay. He might have ran in the Preakness actually, but either way, either way, I don't know. I don't think having it 2 weeks after at this point, I don't think it's good. I think we've seen how much it takes out of these horses, just the Derby alone, let alone running those 2-3 races. I think the 4 weeks would give us a better field in terms of size, and it would be better for the animal. Again, I understand all the traditional people. I understand that, having it be in the span of 6 weeks, that makes it hard. That makes it difficult to win. But I'm with you, Jackson. I agree that I think spacing it out, I don't know that it makes it easier to win. I think it's just more accommodating to the horses that we have at this moment. Jim Pilares, just make first Saturday of every month a big horse racing day. Derby first Saturday in May, Preakness June, Belmont July, Whitney August, Travers September, Penn Derby, shout out, in October, and Breeders' Cup Classic in November. I don't hate that. That's expanding the racing schedule a lot, but Ralph Conti is Bob Baffert horse Rodriguez running. Yes, he said that he is probable for the Preakness. Citizen Bull will not be going. Okay, again, you can have multiple views of thoughts on this. I just kind of wanted to share.
Okay. I want to bring up.
Go ahead.
I do want to bring up a comment I saw. This says about, that one.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is they are skipping around at the Masters. No one is playing round 2 of the Masters. Nobody. And this is not just this year. This is several years now where they're playing round 1 and they're going straight to Sunday. Just no one else see that as a problem. Like I'm a fan of doing things that make sense. It made sense 50 years ago to run the Kentucky Derby on first Saturday in May, and then 2 weeks later the Preakness, and then 3 weeks later the Belmont, because that's what they did back then. No one does that anymore. I think it's time to change it. It's time to do something. I don't know what it is. I already said I don't know if spacing out 4 weeks is even going to make a significant change, because I think the big thing is no one really cares about winning the Preakness anymore, unless you're, an up and coming allowance horse that you're just going to take a shot. That's kind of the big issue I have with it.
Yeah. The Derby, I think we can all agree the Derby is an outlier among every race that goes on in the entire year. The Derby will always be the Derby. So it's tough when you follow that up. It's like if I were to go, I don't know, do stand-up and I had to follow Dave Chappelle. That's a really hard act to follow. And that's pretty much what you're asking the Preakness to do after the Derby, especially right now with the spacing the way it is. I think you brought up a good point. We're not the people that are going to solve this problem. You got to get all the owners, the trainers, the heads of racing in the same room, and then you got to get them all to agree to something, which is probably harder than rocket science, but you at least got to try it. It's going to be what's best for the sport. You got to see if you can come to some sort of agreement to try and get the spacing out, because obviously next year the Preakness won't even be at Pimlico. They're going to be redoing it, so it's going to be at Laurel Park. One more point on the sports reference that RDW mentioned. All the other sports have adapted. We're the only ones that haven't. Baseball added a pitch clock, which I think Howard just threw in. Changed their extra inning rule. Which they did. Baseball added a pitch clock. Basketball hasn't always had a shot clock. Baseball changed their playoff structure to a 1-game wild card, and then they shortened those series under the World Series and I believe the Championship Series, like the NLCS and ALCS. I believe those are 7 games, and then the DS is 5 games, and then wild card was 1 game, or they have NBA has play-in tournaments now. Like every other sport has adapted and changed with the times. Horse racing really has not. So something has to be done, because we got to see our best horses run in the most prestigious races. And I know the Preakness hasn't gotten that hype, but it's still the second jewel of the Triple Crown. So they got to do something. And Mike Rapoli, the commish, if you will, mentioned that we also got to emphasize the fillies and put them in the spotlight more at the Triple Tiara, which I agree. I think there needs to be more emphasis on the Black-Eyed Susan and on the Acorn Stakes. I think they certainly deserve a lot of recognition and attention, as they're just important to the sport. So again, everybody can have their own opinion. I just thought, with us having the screen right now, we would share ours. But yeah, that's pretty much the show, right? We'll end it on the debating topic of what to do with the Preakness and what to do with the horses. But either way, the Late Pick 5 at Santa Anita, not going to have any Preakness runners in it, but certainly going to have some competitive races, as we just went through the Late Pick 5. Jackson, any parting words before I wrap us up here?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, my only parting words are catch Jackson and I over on the Gallop Out tomorrow. Him and I are going to cover the Late Pick 5 Saturday at Churchill Downs. And then Thursday, Big Hoof Energy is going to be back. We're going to be joined by Matt Dinnerman for the first 20 minutes. We're going to go over the Long Branch Stakes at Monmouth, and then he's just going to talk to us about the Monmouth season. And then we're covering a really competitive card, the Late Pick 5 at Aqueduct. Everybody take care. We'll see you next week. Hopefully Noah's going to be back. I hope that guy's buried in a textbook studying right now. But everyone take care. This has been PHP episode 28. PHP out.